वॉइस नहीं आ रही है मेरे पास। वॉइस नहीं आ पा रही है मेरे पास।
Sanjit, we are not able to hear you.
Is it fine?
It's better, but it's very low actually.
Okay, give me 1 second.
I think now it's better when you put this microphone near your mouth, and it's good.
Yeah, let me change it. Can anyone confirm? Is it fine?
Yeah, it's better now. Yeah, it's good.
Awesome. Yeah, sorry for this delay. Hey everyone, welcome to this event where we will cover majorly around the integration between Slack and Salesforce. So before that, anyone wants to introduce themselves to this community, please feel free to unmute yourself and give a quick introduction.
I can go. So myself,
Yes, please.
Tarun. So I'll be working for a Salesforce developer and entity data company.
Awesome, sir. So this is your first event, right?
Yeah.
Great. Anyone else wants to go? No issues. So let's, yeah, please.
Hello, sir. I am Mahimapal.
Sorry.
I am Mahima.
Hey, Mahima.
Uh, so I am working in this company, Salesforce.
Okay, so this is also your first event.
Yes, yes, yes.
Great. Awesome. Cool. So we'll start. Uh, we'll just keep it short, not uh, not exactly take 2 hours, which we have kept for placeholder. So let me know once you guys can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Awesome. So I'll start with quick introduction about what this chapter is all about. So we started this chapter somewhere around August. So this is our second event which we have hosted. Both of them was virtually. So we are soon planning to host an in-person event somewhere around November, December in Patna. I have on my LinkedIn shared a URL as well, so you can go through it, fill up a form, and we can have we can decide when we want to meet for an in-person event in Patna. So, in order to get notifications for any other new events which is happening for this local chapter, you can scan this QR or you can directly search for Slack Community Patna, and it will take you to the same page where you can actually join. So, let me just so you'll just have to search for Slack Community Patna, and it will take you to this local chapters page. You can join here, and you can see the past events. I have also pasted the recordings and the deck I have used in that session in this past event section, and you can see the upcoming events. So right now, this is just this event. So I'll be posting really soon the next event which we are planning to host in person in Patna. So, yep, that's it. If you have any questions in between the session, feel free to unmute your mic and jump in between. So, yeah, so uh, next thing is who am I? So, I, uh, as you all know, I am the Slack community leader for Patna. I am a Salesforce and Slack developer as well as admin and 7 times Salesforce certified. And I'm also a Slack certified developer. You can connect with me over LinkedIn, or if you are in the Slack community workspace, then I'll be love to have a conversation with you in the community itself. So at the end of the session, I'll be also sharing the link, and on the mail you will get proper steps how you can join the community event. And after this event, I'll raise a request to have a personal chapter, which is a personal channel in the Slack community workspace for Patna, and we can all join. So I'll be sending out instructions as well as the recording links and the deck that I'll be using in this session. So what's the agenda for today? So we'll keep it short. We'll just stick to two parts of it, that is using Salesforce Flow to send out notifications or do any actions. So we'll not actually explore end-to-end use case. We'll just explore one, we can say, part of it. And similarly, you will be able to replicate it in whatever requirement you are working on. After that, we will explore how we can use Slack workflow integrated with Salesforce without any external integrations or third-party applications, and send out notification without using the webhooks. And then we will have some question answer sessions, and finally the most interesting part, which is the swag giveaways. So let's start with what are Salesforce flows. Before that, just a quick question: is there anyone who is not from the Salesforce background, or who is very new to Salesforce, or who has just started using Slack or have not never used Slack? Is there anyone who is very new to this platform? You can paste it in the chat as well. So uh, I guess that's no. So that's awesome actually. So you will be better understanding what exactly we are talking about. So what are Salesforce flows? We all know that we can have multiple types of flows inside Salesforce that can do DML operations, that can do external callouts, that can send out notifications or integrate with any other third-party applications to perform any operation, right? So yeah, so that's how a Salesforce flow typically looks like, where you will have nodes that decides what action you will take. Then you have decision, you have looping, you have fault screens, which basically used to handle the errors. So yeah, that's it how the Salesforce flows looks like. Then moving to the next part of it is how Slack workflow looks like. So if you all are from Salesforce background, then it is possible that Slack workflow may sound something new for you. So is there anyone who is very new or have never used or built a Slack workflow? Uh, if anyone is unaware about what exactly Slack workflows are, so I'll make this session a little slow. Hmm, that's interesting actually. So we all are aware. I hope we is understanding. Okay, Aditya. So I'll just quickly give you a brief about it. So what Slack workflow is similar to what we have in Salesforce. Flow is like a step-by-step instructions that we tell the system to perform in order to achieve any end goal, right? So just like in Salesforce, we use Flow to do some DML operations, send out notifications, or post a message in Chatter. Similarly, in Slack, we use Slack workflows to, let's say, uh, since Slack is a communication platform. So let's say you have to request for PTOs. In that case, we can have a workflow created, which will be either available as a shortcut or you can have it available as a bookmark. So any employee who wants to raise a request for a PTO, they will directly go start the workflow, give answers to n number of questions, whether it be from when to when you want to go on leave, what is the reason behind it, who is your manager that you reports to, and all. So a person does not have to do a manual uh, update or manual message to their manager. They will use this workflow, and whoever is a part of the workflow that should receive the notification will get a notification uh, directly by if you use this Slack workflow. So this is one use case. The other use cases are, let's say you have just created a Slack workspace, or you are in org and you have just created a new workspace or a new org. In that case, what you can do is have some default workflows. So whenever a user joins a channel, which can be your general channel, or if you add them to a specific channel, you can actually send out a notification or a canvas to that member that, hey, this is the first step that you should do as a new joinee. You should fill out these forms. You should report to this person. These are the channels that you should join. If you are a Salesforce developer, you can join these channels. If you are a Slack developer, you can join these channels. If you are a IT support or an admin, you can join these channels, which is specific to to the field in which you are working. So let's say like most of us must be on Microsoft Teams. So let's say we are migrating from Microsoft Teams to Slack. In that case, there will be a general channel, and in the general channel you can have multiple workflows. So let's say you have a Salesforce developer joining your channel. In that case, they will directly go use this workflow, and they will automatically join whatever channel is specific to Salesforce developers. And let's say you are a product manager or from HR, so you can have those channels configured in Slack workflows, and user will automatically, when start the workflow, will join the channels. So these are the use cases that we can have on Slack workflows. So we'll see it in action really soon. So let's see how it's done. So I've kept the slide uh, to a minimal because it makes it a little boring. So we'll start with flows. So for this, you will like you can explore whatever we are doing in this session on any Failhead playground, and you can spin your personal free plan Slack workspace. Or if you have any existing workspace that is obviously not of your client, you can do it on that as well. So there are actually two ways. Either we can do a call out like we used to do in typical Salesforce coding, which where we pass a body to any third party application and get a response, and then we pass the response. But after the acquisition of Slack by Salesforce, they have introduced some standard applications which we can directly utilize. So there is no need to create manually the Slack applications or whitelist a certain domain. You can directly connect your Slack, your Salesforce, and send out notifications, create channels, and all. So we'll see how it's done. So I have one Slack workspace, and so the starting point will be you will have to go to uh, Slack app directory, which is now renamed as I'm sorry, what was the name? Slack Marketplace. Sorry. Yes. So you'll just have to select whatever workspace you are working on. If you are on multiple workspaces, you will see complete list. And then there's a section of Salesforce for Slack, and you can have multiple applications connected. So let's say you want to integrate something related to your sales agents and sales related objects. You can directly go and utilize Sales Cloud. Similarly, we have Service Cloud, and there are Tableau and CRM analytics as well. There are other integrations as well, but in this session, we will only stick with Salesforce. So, Salesforce for Slack is the application that we will be using. Then you'll just have to click on Get Apps, and you will get an option to add this application in your Slack workspace. Since we have already added this application, so I'll move to this. Sorry. So we'll move to Slack for Salesforce part and click on Manage All Connections. Let's say since I already have a workspace connected, what you can do is let's say you have another workspace which you want to another Salesforce org which you want to connect, you can click on Connect New Org. Or if you are already connected, you can click on Manage and disconnect your existing connection as well, or set it as preferred. So we already are connected to one of the Salesforce org. So we'll quickly jump to the flows. Before that, I have missed a part. So there is a permission set required. So no matter which application you are using, either it is a Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Salesforce for Slack, CRM, or Tableau. If Tableau has a concept of Salesforce, there is a required permission that you have to manually create, or you can use any existing permission set as well. So in that, there is uh, one permission. This is connect Salesforce with Slack. So this is the permission that you'll have to give to this permission set, and you can assign this permission set to your user. So this is a mandatory step that no matter which application you are using, you will have to do it. Okay, so let's quickly jump to flows. I already have a flow created, hot account alert. Ignore the naming convention because I'm bad at giving names. So as you can see, this is a record trigger flow, simple one node trigger flow that on whenever an account is updated and its rating is equals to hot, this will fire this flow. And what it will do is it will send out a Slack message. So this is nothing but a standard action that you can directly drag and drop and use it in your application. So in the Slack section, you have multiple functions available, or you can say some kind of invocable classes. So what I'll do is I'll create a Slack channel. Let's name it create Slack channel. What application? So since we are connected with Salesforce for Slack, we will be using this. Otherwise, if you have any custom app created for you, you can define its app ID in the resources and do whatever you want to do. So Salesforce for Slack, which workspace we will be using? Uh, okay, workspace name is not coming. 1 second. Mm, Oh, now it is coming. Okay. So Slack Community Patna is the workspace name that we'll be using. How we want to execute the app? That is, we want to execute the app in the context of Slack app. So Slack app, or we can say bot token and user token, which is a concept which, when you deep dive into Slack development, you will see this. So what should be the channel name? So let's uh, let's name it. What we can name it? Let's name it account dash and new hot rating. You can have this dynamically filled as well. So let's say if you want to use account name, you can do it. Since we will only uh, run this flow once, so we have just hard coded it. Then channel type, if you want to make it public or private, you can do it. And if you want to send any other parameters to it, you can do it. So we'll not use this. We will use the send message command only. So same thing, we have used Slack application, the workspace we have selected, execute, and hard coded the Slack conversation ID. And what messages we are using here is we have just created a template for the message, which is new account alert. Account name is whatever record name we are running the trigger upon. So let's save this, go to our account. So LIC India Limited. Let's change the rating first, make it warm. Obviously, it will not fire the trigger. 1 second, what was the, how it got fired? Acha, this is why workflow. Okay, so we'll cover this later. So as soon as I'll make the rating as hot and click on save, I get a notification from this application which we are using, Salesforce for Slack, that a new account alert, account name is this. We can pass n number of values to it. So this is how we can use Salesforce flows to do actions in Slack, whether it be sending out message, which we have just demonstrated. It can be as simple as sending out message, or we can make it as complex as case swarming. So we can, what the Service Cloud offers, we can do it via our flows as well. That is, whenever a case is created, we will create a case specific channel that will have name something like new case dash case number, and you can add whatever case team is assigned, or whoever is the case owner, you can add them in the Slack channel, swarm on the Slack channel, or triage on the Slack channel for the case, add the customers, add any stakeholders, add the concerned teams. Let's say if you have a payment related issue, you can add the payment team as well. So all you can do using the Salesforce flows. There are although some limitations, that is a very complex logic. Let's say if you want to uh, archive a channel, save the conversation somewhere in the Salesforce record, uh, close the record, and do n number of steps. And that we prefer going for custom applications. But 90% of the general tasks that we uh, that for starting point we need, which is sending out message, creation of channel, archiving channel, posting messages, pinning a message, sending reminders, sending a scheduled reminder, all we can do using Salesforce flows. So this was the first part of it. Any questions in this? Any questions, or anyone wants to add on anything? Or if anyone has better use case for this? Okay, I'll take that silence as no. So let's jump to the next part of it where we will use Slack workflow and we will use Salesforce trigger, which is the coding part of it to send out Slack notifications. And in this, we will not use any custom application. Sure, Ankit, thanks for joining. So we'll not use any custom application or a lot of coding for this. So we'll just keep it very simple. That is just the similar use case which we have just showed for account. So we will use the same account, we will use the same logic and send the notifications via workflow. And then after doing that, we will add complexities to it. Awesome. So I'll quickly jump to Slack, open workflow builder, and this account trigger, which we have just seen that we got a message. So let's open workflow builder and let's see what exactly we have done in this place. Since workflow builder is a paid feature, so if you even if you are on free trial, Slack gives you a I think 30 days free trial for Pro. And if you want to buy a Pro, you can reach out to me, and we actually have code which you can use to get 50% off on your Pro plans. So we have just made a simple workflow that will start from a webhook. So webhook is basically an external URL, a URL that you can call from any external system, just like you make any HTTP or SOAP or REST call out. There are other type of workflows as well, which is shortcut, schedule trigger, or on reactions. But we'll cover it in some next session. So we have a workflow that starts with a webhook. What are the variables which we are passing is we are passing the ID, we are passing the name, we are passing description and URL. If you want to pass any other variable, you can set up your variable, set whatever key if you want to pass, what will be the data type of it, and click on done. That's it. It will add this in the uh, web request. This is the example body, and this is the URL in which we will be making the call out from Salesforce to. And then what is the next step? So we have just added that it should send out a message to Slack community Patna demo channel. And what information it should hold? It should have that a new account alert, or I can say a new account, or I can say it account update alert, since we are updating. So account update alert, account ID, account name, account description, and this view account will take you, like on clicking of this view account, you will be taken to the Salesforce page. So how we can actually bind it is if you click on insert a variable, it will give you the variables which we are using in the webhook, and you can directly bind it with whatever text you want to display on it. So that's it. We can go on add buttons as well. So let's say if you want to add button uh, update account, what color you want it to be, what should it behave like. You can open a link, you can continue to workflow. It can be a single click or it can be clickable by a number of people, like whoever is in your channel. You can do all this. So let's keep it simple for now, and then I'll show you how you can add complexities to it. So let's jump to, so we are done with the flow. So let's jump to developer console. So forgive me for not maintaining the best practice in writing the code. So what here we are doing is we just have a trigger written on account object. In flow, I was using if account rating is hot, then only it should send out notification. In this place, I'm using if the account rating is not hot, then only it should send out the notification. So let's jump to this class and see what this class is actually doing. So obviously, I'm using logic inside inside trigger, which is not an ideal scenario. I have also not made it bulkified, which is again a coding practice issue. So sorry for that. Then we have this trigger handler where we have webhook URL. This is the same URL which we got from the Slack workflow. And method type, we want it to be as a post. Since we are making a call out from trigger, so obviously future enabled call out true is required. We are passing account ID, account name, and description to it. And then the simple HTTP callout that we do in Salesforce. So the syntax is same, just only the difference is this body. So if you will see this body, which is this payload, I have made it custom, which is kind of hard coded, not again a best practice for it, but that's how it is right now. So you can, if you have a different use case, you can use wrappers and all to make this payload body. So ID is account ID. I have used the same variable which I have defined in the Slack workflow. So again, account ID, account name, description, and URL. And then, so one thing here is, since we are making a call out to an external workflow, so we will have to just whitelist this URL. So here I have done it. So hooks.slack.com, which is this only. So we have just whitelisted this URL so that it will be able to make this call out. And that's it. We are just checking if we got a response as status or we got an error. So let's jump to the account record, change its rating, click on save. We got a notification. If you will see the dev console, I mean, if you are a developer, then this makes a lot of sense for you. So here you can see we got status OK as true. So quickly jumping to the Slack message. So new account, 1 second. I think I have not published this. Okay, I have not saved it actually. So instead of new account alert, it will be new account update alert. Okay, so we got ID, we got the name, we got the description, and on clicking on of view account, it will take me to the page. Obviously, you can embed frontdoor.js, which is like takes the connection, securities, and everything. So you can use frontdoor.js as well, which is the standard Salesforce by security protocol. Or if you are already logged in into the workspace or sorry into the Slack Salesforce, or you will directly be redirected to that particular uh, account or any other S objects record. Now the next part comes is how you can add complexities to it. So this will look a very simple workflow where on account creation, on account update, or any S object creation update, we are sending out notifications in Slack. How you can add complexities to it is you can actually view the complete details of it, whatever S object you are updating or sending out inside Slack, as well as you can call Salesforce flows inside Slack, and you can update, get records, and there are multiple steps which we can actually do. So let's quickly just see what all things are possible. We'll not jump into details into all these. So what we can do is we can create a record. So just scroll down to this workflow list. These are the standard connectors. So drag and drop, create a record. What it will do is it will first, you can actually select for which Salesforce org you want to run the step for. So this is the same org which we are using. You can select which object you want to create. So let's say in this case, we are creating a case. So case, there's also an option to automatically create a form to collect the values. So on clicking of it, or on clicking of this checkbox, I do not have to go and manually take the user input. So which fields we want to update? So in this case, let's say it is just sub priority. Which priority we want? Either we can do it on like hard code the value, or we can have forms in order to forms to create user to take a user input, and whatever user has given as input we can use it in to create our Salesforce records. So similarly to creating record, we can delete a record, we can read a record, we can update a record, and this run a flow. So run a flow right now is only available for for auto launch, no trigger flow, which is you can see here only auto launch flows are currently supported. Since I have these number of auto launch flows, I can use anything. And if there are input variables, which is in this case, I have created record ID, so I can pass record ID to it, click on save. And what it will do is I just need to add a button to it. So let's just add a button. So now what will happen is as soon as I'll click on continue in this workflow, it will run the flow, pass this record ID to it, and whatever actions are defined in the Salesforce flow, we will be able to perform it. So yeah, that's pretty much it from the workflow side. There are although other connectors as well. There are Google Sheet connectors, Google Tasks, or you can have your custom connectors as well. Just like I have this Dino reverse, you can have n number of custom uh, functions created. So we'll soon planning to host an event for this custom functions as well. So yes, you can have multiple standard as well as custom connectors, pass input to it, take output from it, and that's it. Just like we used to do in Salesforce methods. Yep, you can see Google Meet screen. I'm sorry, was the screen visible for this whole time? Can anyone confirm? This okay. The screen was visible. That's strange. Maybe due to some internet issue. No issues. You'll get the recording. Awesome. So, yep. So I think we have 1 hour 20 minutes, which is not something which we'll completely utilize. So let's jump to the next part of it, which is let me share my screen again so that it is visible for you. So I'll have just covered it on a very high level. There are much more detailed, or we can say detailed instructions and detailed steps that we could have covered, but I have kept it very short so you all can go and explore yourself what exactly we can do by integrating Salesforce and Slack. And obviously, this is not something which requires a lot of coding. Only the trigger part requires coding, but there are obviously AI tools which can do it for you. So that is also something which is you can do it via AI. So even if you are an admin, you can go on explore flows. You can go on explore Slack workflow builders, and you can also explore the inbuilt connectors. All you need is a Trailhead playground for now, and you can have free version of Slack, which like if you create a new account, it will give you 30-day free trial. You can explore on that. And if you want to have a pro subscription, please feel free to reach out to me and uh, we can arrange coupons for you that will make it 50% off. So yeah, we are in the question and answer part. Any questions? Are there any particular documentation available for that trigger part coding? So yes, there are documentations available. I'll share that as well. But this is something which is like if you are a developer, you should know what exactly a webhook URL. It is not exactly documented in the way which I have just showed you. It is documented that yes, you can make external call out from any other system. It is not specific for Salesforce. If you have any other systems as well, you can do just like you do it in Postman. So you can do call outs to the Slack workflow. And if it is a webhook workflow, which is obviously a URL, you can pass custom bodies to it, and it will obviously do its processing just like we just saw in this demo. So I'll share the documentation as well. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah. You have seen that, you have shown that, there is some permission set you should have added, right? So can
Mhm.
that be added to the profile also? That checkbox, whatever the invite to Slack or something you have checked, right? So the permissions.
Okay, so obviously, if you are talking about system admin profile, obviously we cannot do it. So if you have, let's say, custom profiles created in your system, then yes, you can do it on a profile level as well.
Profile level also, you can do it. Okay.
So that is just a permission set. You can do it either via profile or either a permission set. Hardly matters.
Okay.
Just the recommended ways permission set. So you can go and remove anytime if you do not want a user to get connected to Slack.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we'll take 2 more minutes about question answers if you guys have any. So just like quick heads up, since we have covered it mostly at the very high level, there are much more detail to it. Slack have also released a new framework, so it is planning to retire the legacy system, which was building using Slack Bolt JS or Bolt Python. So you will be still building it using Python JS, but that will deploy as in the Slack infrastructure. First point. Second point is they recommend to use the new framework, which is next gen platform, that is like coding in TypeScript. And just like we have standard connectors, in that also we can create either the complete workflow, we can create a part of the workflow, you can create connectors. So yeah, these are the recommended way. If I talk about in the developer context, if I talk about admin context, they have recently introduced this multiple button click feature. So previously how it was is, if you have a workflow and in the workflow you are sending out a message in a channel with a button, so what used to happen is, on a single click the button will disappear. It will just show a message that this user has clicked this button. You will move on to the workflow. So now they have introduced this multiple clicks as well, and the standard connectors, which is either of, you can say, Asana, Salesforce, or Google Sheet, or Microsoft Excel is also there. So all these they have introduced recently. Also in Dreamforce, they have introduced Agent Force, which is a paid feature. So I'm not sure if you all, or even if I will be able to experience it very soon. But hopefully, yeah, we'll get some videos around it that will show a real demo instead of the recordings that we get on the Slack YouTube channels or in Dreamforce. But yeah, I have explored this AI thing, which is managing your sidebars using AI. So I have actually used AI to uh, customize my sidebars. So what it did it is, it made separate sections for the channels that I have most interacted on and the least interacted channel as well. So it made me custom sections. And obviously Slack AI, if you have seen the video, it can summarize the channel. So that is again a great feature. I was thinking about having a section around the Dreamforce, but I saw there are many community events have happening around Dreamforce, so I stick a little to the development part of it. Yeah. So no more questions. Okay, so we have 9 participants. That means we can arrange at most 2 swags. So I'll let's do a quick question answer. So we'll select one swag via this question answer thing, and we'll select another swag via what we call it, wheels of name. Okay, so feel free to unmute and answer. So what should I ask? Uh, when Salesforce acquired Slack, any clue? And what was the reason behind it? So it has two parts. When it acquired Slack, and what was the main reason behind it, behind acquisition of Slack? Like why exactly they
In
acquired Slack?
2021,
Hmm.
maybe on 2021 or 22, I don't remember. Maybe on in
Hmm.
that range,
Hmm.
they acquired it.
And why?
Why? Not very sure, but maybe maybe Salesforce is identifying some of the messaging channel where they want to build some kind of messaging channels community where they want to intimate, they want to inform other people in a different way of channel. Maybe that time Teams and Google Meet was very famous. That's all. Not very sure, but I'm just giving a small.
Sweet. Anyone else wants to? Thank you, Tarun. Anyone? Any guesses? Okay, no issues. So you can search on it a little. Why exactly it Salesforce acquired Slack? So it was somewhere around December 2020, and the main purpose behind acquisition is Salesforce didn't has a very catchy UI which agents can use to interact. So that was one of the reasons why Slack was acquired, and they are working continuously to integrate. Like since uh, this Salesforce record channels is the latest feature, so in future we will see 90% of the things that we still do in Salesforce will move to Slack. For agents, obviously, for developers, it's still gonna be 90% Salesforce, but for any agents, whether it be Slack or service, uh, most of the things will come into Slack. So it will reduce continuous switching between Salesforce, Slack, Salesforce, Slack. Awesome. So let me, so give me 1 minute. I'll just copy the name of all of you so we can spin the wheels and then we'll conclude the session. So I can see there are few participants which we have swags for earlier. So I'm sorry. Slack doesn't allow you to allows us to give swags to the same participant in consecutive events. Sorry for that. So I guess there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I'm not wrong, there are 9. Okay, I missed that one. Okay, so there are 10 if I'm not wrong. 11. I missed someone. Okay, what I'll do is I'll share the screen and you can check your name, obviously. Please check if I am missing anyone. So I'll take silence as no, right? Awesome. So let's spin the wheel. Okay, so we have a winner who was a winner in the previous event as well. I guess you're very lucky. So I'm sorry, you will be skipped. So let's see who we got. Awesome. So I'll just take a screenshot of it and I'll reach you. Are you on Slack community workspace? Samuel, are you on the Slack community workspace?
No,
Okay, you are not. Okay, so I'll paste my LinkedIn. You can reach out to me and we can have swags for you there. So let me remove and let's spin the wheel again. So I'll try to get as many swags as possible. Just not sure if we will be able to get a lot. Awesome. So we got two winners here and I'll try to arrange more swags if possible. So what I'll do is I'll paste my LinkedIn over here and you guys can reach out to me over LinkedIn. If you are on Slack Community Workspace, you can obviously reach out to me uh, on Slack. But just in case if you are not there, let me paste it. Paste my LinkedIn for you. And in the email, I'll also be sending out the steps how you can join the Patna chapter, Patna Slack channel, and how you can join Slack Community Workspace in it. And yep, we can obviously collaborate there. And if you have any questions, there are multiple channels and multiple Slack chapter leaders as well as Slack developers or admin that can help you resolve it. And obviously, Jacob will be there. So I guess we are pretty much done with it. Any other questions before we wrap up?
hello Sanjit. I'm Samuel.
Femina name is missing. Oops. You should have unmuted.
Hello Sanjit,
I'm sorry.
able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Put the LinkedIn request. Can you please accept that?
Sure, sure, sure. I'll do it right away.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Thank you. So, just before we wrap up, there's a little announcement that I'll be sharing really soon the next in person event that most probably will happen somewhere around November. So, whoever is available in Patna location, I'll love to join them and have a conversations around Slack or Salesforce. And before we leave, any other questions? No? Awesome. Thank you so much for joining. Uh, great, great. Okay, so thank you so much for joining. See you on the next event. And obviously, I'll be sending out the recordings, the deck which I have used. And if you want to have access to one of the Slack workspaces, you can reach out to me as well. So we can basically create a Slack workspace for you. Uh, and yep, that's it. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Bye.